Welcome back to Building Character, where we figure out how to play as your favorite fictional characters in Dungeons & Dragons. Remember to vote in the poll and like and subscribe for better pizza next time you play. Maybe. Today we're building the badass brother of the Turtles, Raphael. When you think about it, Raphael really embodies a lot of the teenage experience, overshadowed by an older sibling, full of pent-up anger, and spending most of his time in the sewer playing with weapons.
You can never, 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 ever, never, 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 ever hide your heart.
Let's start off with our goals for this build. First, we've got to hit hard. Might be a kind of simple goal, but there's nothing wrong with keeping it simple. Next, we'll make sure that we can use some cool ninja weapons so we can cut our enemies down to size with our size. Finally, we'll make sure we don't need half-plate armor, because we have a half shell. For stats, we're using the standard point array from the player's handbook. Roll for stats if you want. Multiclassing should be pretty smooth for this build. Dexterity is number 1, those size are definitely finesse weapons. Constitution after that, turtles are bulky, who knew? Wisdom next, Raphael spends most of his time running around at night, sharpening his senses. Strength will follow, it'll get bumped up by racial bonuses, but yeah, Raphael can lift. Charisma's on the lower end, he's cool but rude, and will dump intelligence. You solve most of your problems with hitting, not thinking. Now if you remember the Leonardo build, you remember Tortles. They get +2 strength and +1 wisdom. You have claws letting you deal 1d4 plus your strength modifier and slashing damage with unarmed attacks. You can hold your breath for an hour. You have natural armor, making your AC 17 while you're not wearing armor. You can use a shell defense to dive inside your shell as an action, giving yourself +4 AC, advantage on strength and constitution saves, but you're prone and have disadvantage on dex saves and can't take any action other than coming out of your shell. You get survival instincts for the survival skill, take the urchin background for stealth, and swap sleight of hand for acrobatics. The city secrets feature makes you an expert at navigating city streets and finding secret passages like sewers. Kick things off as a fighter, letting you grab 2 skills from their list. Athletics and intimidation would suit you well. You can pick a fighting style. 2-weapon fighting lets you add your ability modifier to an offhand attack. Remember, this is an attack you make as a bonus action while holding a weapon in both hands. You can also use a second wind to recover health equal to 1d10 plus your fighter level as a bonus action once per long rest. Turtles do have some sort of regenerative healing factory shenanigans going on. Bouncing over to monk right away, this can be a little redundant with some turtle stuff, but we'll eventually pass it to become pretty useful. First level monks get martial arts, letting you make unarmed attacks that deal 1d4 bludgeoning damage, currently no better than your claws unless something resists slashing, and you can make an unarmed attack as a bonus action after taking the attack action with a monk weapon or a punch. Now let's talk monk weapons. A sai would probably be a dagger, which isn't great, but will scale with your monk damage to be okay. You also have unarmored defense, making your AC 10 plus your dexterity and wisdom modifiers, but that's currently 14, which isn't as big of a number as 17, I'm pretty sure, so just shell it up. Second level monks get key points you can spend on swift moves. Step of the Wind lets you dash or disengage as a bonus action and doubles your jump distance for the turn. Patient Defense lets you dodge as a bonus action. Flurry of Blows lets you make 2 unarmed attacks instead of 1 as a bonus action, so you show everyone how fast a turtle can be. Speaking of speed, you also have unarmored movement, making you a little bit faster while you're not wearing armor. This scales up as you level up in monk. Third level monks can deflect missiles, letting you reduce damage from range attacks by 1d10 plus your dexterity modifier and your monk level. If this goes to 0, you can throw the ammo back as a monk weapon attack. Have you ever tried to shoot a 6-foot turtle man? Trust me, it's hard. You can also pick a monastic tradition. Way of the Kensei lets you pick 2 weapons to make Kensei weapons. These can be anything martial that isn't heavy. So a rapier is available, which deals 1d4 piercing damage instead of the dagger's 1d4. It's just a really long sai, like when I tell my parents I'm making a Dungeons & Dragons video about a Ninja Turtle. You can make an agile parry after making an unarmed attack if you're holding one of these weapons for +2 to your AC. Now I'm guessing unarmed isn't your jam while dual wielding rapiers, but it's an option. You can also make a Kensei shot, which lets you add 1d4 to ranged attacks this round with a bonus action. Again, maybe not super in character, but make it dart a shuriken, and there you go. Most importantly, Wave the Brush gives you calligraphy proficiency. Raphael is known for his penmanship, look it up. 4th level monks get slow fall, reducing your fall damage by 5 times your monk level as a reaction, so you can hop off of a skyscraper and be fine-ish. You can also grab an ability score improvement or a feat, and we really don't need any feats. Bump up your dexterity, we'll get it higher than Leo's and then usurp his authority. It'll work this time, trust me. Back over to fighter now. Second level fighters get action surge, letting you make an extra action once per long rest to really get in there and show off your turtle power. Third level fighters can choose a martial archetype, and we might use brute too much here, but I like it. It's a barbarian who can keep it on the level. You get brute force, adding 1d4 to the damage of your attacks, so oomph up those attacks. This isn't just for strength-based weapons, you can use it for dex too. 4th level fighters can grab another ability score improvement when you come very close to capping that dexterity. You might even be able to do it if you rolled well. Now, if you can't cap it, don't sweat it. I'm sure your character is fine being second best. 5th level fighters get an extra attack, letting you make 2 attacks with your action, then still use your bonus action for an offhand attack or an unarmed strike. You're surprisingly fast for a turtle. 6th level fighters get another ability score improvement, cap the dexterity, then move on to constitution. Raph is definitely the frontline bruiser brother. 7th level brutes get brutish durability, letting you add 1d6 to all saving throws, and if that's a death saving throw and it brings you to 20, you count it as a natural 20, letting you spring up with 1 HP. Turtles have very long lives, you should know that. 8th level fighters get another ability score improvement, more constitution means more HP, and more potential to come up after a brutish death save, keeping you in the fight for your soft-shelled brothers. 9th level fighters get indomitable, letting you re-roll a failed saving throw once per day. With this and brutish durability, you're a very hard turtle to hit. Ninjas, am I right? 10th level brutes increase their brute force damage to a d6 and can choose another fighting style. I'd go for Mariner. This gives you +1 AC, climbing speed, and swimming speed when you're not wearing heavy armor. Considering the only thing you're wearing is a red mask or maybe a trench coat, this is sounding kind of creepy. This applies to you. So swim and climb and take hits 5% less often, I think. I'm not totally sure on the math. We're not building Donnie today. 11th level fighters get a second extra attack, which means 3 attacks on your action and a 4th with your offhand weapon. Each of these gets a brute force die added to it and your ability modifier for some serious damage. 12th level fighters get an ability score improvement and you can get very close to capping your constitution. If it's already capped, nice rolling. Go for wisdom for better AC. We'll finish off with some monk levels. 5th level monks get an extra attack, but that doesn't stack with the fighters, so instead you just get stunning strike. This lets you spend a key point to force a constitution save on a creature of 8 plus your wisdom modifier and proficiency bonus. If they failed, they're stunned until the end of your next turn, giving you advantage to hit them with melee attacks. Remember how you have 4 attacks per round? That's 14 chances to roll a crit if you land this on your first hit. I like those odds. Your monk damage die also increases to a d6, so if you want to stick with knives for your size, they get a little bump there. 6th level monks get key empowered strikes, making your punches magical, and magical kensei weapons, making your kensei weapons magical. This should help you cut through some of Shredder's robot ninjas. You also get deft strike, letting you spend a key point to add your martial arts damage die to a weapon attack once per round. More d6s, you're basically a rogue at this point. 7th level monks get evasion, letting you take half damage on failed dex saves and no damage on successful ones. Considering you already have +10 to dex saves and brutish durability at this point, I'm guessing that's going to be a 0. But hey, bad rolls are bad rolls. Our capstone will be an ability score improvement from the 8th level monk. Cap off your constitution. If it's already capped, go for wisdom for better AC. All of these ability score improvements really make Raphael the badass he needs to be. Now that we've hit level 20, let's figure out how good of a build this is. First, you can do a lot of damage with brute die, multiple attacks, and deft strikes, all of which ignore magical resistances. You can also soak up a lot of hits with an 18 AC, over 200 HP, and patient defense. Being up front isn't really a concern for you. Finally, you can get up front very quickly with unarmored movement, climbing, and swimming speed. You're the fastest turtle in the world. For weaknesses, even ignoring magical resistances, you're still only sending out physical damage. It should be pretty effective, but not many high-level enemies are weak to the melee trinity of bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. You are also lacking in charisma and intelligence, which aren't the most common saves, but they can be doozies. Spells like Plane Shift and Feeble Mind in particular come to mind, as they almost act as a character death in terms with how you interact with the story. Finally, your key points are limited resource. Deft strikes and patient defenses can run through these very quickly. Keep an eye on them, but don't forget to use them either. Of course, only a total hothead would blow through all of his resources right away. As long as you can keep it on the level and don't get too aggressive, you should be fine. Self-control is what Raphael is all about. Wait, no. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, subscribe for more. We do 2 builds every week. It's another redemption poll this week, so vote for Zelda, Zangief, or Tokoyami. And come back Thursday, we're going back to our weird convoluted roots.